Why are the petrol prices fluctuating so wildly these days? Is it just at the Armadale Caltex near the train station, or is this happening around Perth? Why does the price keep jumping between $189 and $225? On a small note, remember when 91 prices were under 100? Good times. It's price discrimination. If you discount reliably on a 2-week cycle, you can capture customers who will buy when it's cheapest, and if it's expensive for the other 13 days, you can capture people who need fuel more than once every 2 weeks, and corporate fleet vehicles where the person filling up doesn't care about the price. Make a big margin where you can, and take the small margin where you can't. 7-Eleven, price lock is the way for Maine. Either Vibe or Atlas around me is still cheaper on Wednesday. I do remember complaining 69 cents was expensive when I was younger, and the big issues of how petrol stations were going to display $1 price on their signs. I'm lucky because I had an undetected leak in my tank for months, so now it's fixed. Petrol seems as though it's at rock bottom prices. On a small note, remember when 91 prices were under 100? Good times. Pepperidge Farm remembers. In fact, I remember when 91 was under 70c, and diesel got expensive at 80c. Because a Saudi prince wants a new mega yacht. It's always done that. Because the OPEC nations are a bunch of dicks. I heard the other day fuel is taxed 3 times, import, federal and state tax. Isn't tax to support the country and help its citizens? Wouldn't it be wise to lower this when it's hurting most? Remember when prices were under 100? It was during the height of the pandemic, so whether they were good times or not is debatable. Price gouging mostly. 7-Eleven fuel lock completely solves the price cycle issue for petrol. The margin on fuel for servos averages less than 5, lower than nearly every type of retail. International benchmark prices and the value of the Australian dollar have the most influence on the price consumers pay for fuel. My thoughts on this is, are ever-increasing prices now giving people more reason to consider hybrid or EV cars? That's if they can afford to buy brand new near new. It's just the market working efficiently like it's supposed to. Local price gouging on top of international price gouging. There's a war in Ukraine and Russia needs money. Why do idiots keep giving them money? The Australian dollar has fallen from 70c in July to under 64c today on concerns China's economy is slowing. We are ramping up to go full Mad Max in the next few years. Once the oil runs low, it's apocalypse time. Blame the Saudis for the big shifts. Blame the utterly tepid competition law enforcement for the petty rent-seeking oligopolistic price signaling going on with the fuel cycle. If you really want to stick it to these parasitic rent-seekers, buy an EV. OPEC cutting production and weak Australian dollar. Cries in diesel. I recall when 91 was under 0.20c at $2, now that's a 900% increase. Not sure anything else has increased quite that much, apart from perhaps housing. It's price gouging now, and the sooner govs step in to regulate this bullshit the better. For a contrast, fuel in some countries' poor ones is around 0.5 of a cent per litre. Yes, that's half a cent. Why do we have to pay so much? You should feel lucky that the cycle goes for 7 days and you have a cheap Tuesday, although it's not even that cheap anymore every week. If you check the rest of the capital cities, their cycle is nearly 2 months. Only Adelaide is close to Perth in this respect, with cycles being around a fortnight. I am in Melbourne this week and petrol hasn't been below $2.20 for a while. They say it's $2.50 in some places. Also, they said they used to have cheap Tuesdays many years ago. Good days. I'll take the fluctuating prices with a cheap day over long cycles. OPEC essentially, the price floor for oil at their discretion. Can be used as a political tool or economic tool. Macroeconomic shock. See Ukraine war, however double-edged sword, as some are getting very cheap oil off Russia and reselling to the Western market. High excesses in Australia. Price gouging. Combination of all of the above. Oil prices are jumping and the Australian dollar has reached its lowest point since 2020. My issue is that I still voluntarily use BP Ultimate 98 Facepalm Dark Skin Tone Emoji Modifier #lucky. I barely use a tank per month, sometimes a lot less.